Yeah! Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game. Today we've got Crimson Onion playing as 35Y, going up against Psalm playing as 11th US. So we'll cover the deck reviews, then the map, the matchup, the deployments in the game, and as always timestamps in the description. Right, so this is the deck review for Psalm, or P-Salm, depending on how annoying I'm feeling. And he's playing 11th ACAV. As you can see, it's almost identical to my own. This is mine. So I'll just explain why a couple of the things are in there that he's not put in there, and why they're in there, and so on. Yeah, so we'll go through it tab by tab. So first things first, your Logi tab is very, very limited. You know, this is a 2-point, is it? Oh, I guess I can't see it unless I get rid of it. 1-pointer, yeah, so as you can see, it's not fantastic. And so, yeah, 2 cards supply is kind of cutting it fine, but I have also done this. You will find yourself running out of supply towards the end of the game, particularly if 1 or 2 of your supply vehicles gets killed before it gives the supply. To that end, basically you've only got 1 truck-based supply, which is this, so you have to bring that. And then in terms of your other supply options, I use the Chinook. Both 2,000 supply in a card. It's just this is 2,000 supply for 65 points, and this is 2,000 supply for 90 points. The disadvantage of the Black Hawk, the disadvantage of the Chinook, the advantage of the Black Hawk, is that if this dies, you're having a very, very bad time. Whereas if this dies, you know, he's basically got to kill 2 of them to have the same effect. So that's why it costs a bit more. Then in terms of CV options, most of your CVs end up in the tank tab, because inf CVs you can't really bring because you don't get that much inf. So here you might as well go for the 3 availability ones. You can pay 5 points more for extra HP, but you lose speed. So it's up to you. Pretty sure I go for the faster one, I can't remember now. Both of them are valid choices. Yeah, I go for the faster one. And then, yeah, there's no point bringing tracked CVs because you're going to be very slow off the bat if you do that. And because your other CVs are very tracked. Well, they're very tracked. They're very expensive and they're tracked. So you might as well get the 3 availability one, and you might as well get the wheeled one. The thing behind 3 supply cards is that the game usually goes late, and you usually find yourself repairing a bunch of stuff, and then you run out of supply. But because it's a 3-point slot, you know, it's kind of hard to justify just with how limited you are on this division for a lot of other things. So I run 2 cards of supply on this div, and I appreciate that by the time it gets to 35 minutes, I'm out of supply. One thing you can do that helps you is you click on your supply and you click off giving fuel. That really helps. Really helps because you save a lot of supply on refueling things that don't need refueling because they're going to die before they run out of fuel anyway. And if they run out of fuel, then you can refuel them, right? Or if they're running out of fuel, it gives you a little warning icon. You'll see it next to the unit. So infantry, this is exactly the same as how I build mine, except I think I bring my engineers in the M113A3. Let's check. Either option is valuable. So, whoops. Yeah, either option is possible. So basically, the way I open with this div is a big air-heavy opener. So like 1 or 2 A10s, a fighter, a recon helo, or 2. I think he's got too many recon helos there. And then I, you know, kill everybody with the A10s, and then I've usually got 1 or 2 air cav troopers that'll come in from the spot on, like they'll have been bought at the start, and they'll take the ground that the A10 has won, because basically I'll have killed the enemy's forward deployed Spetsnaz Gru or whatever it is, and then I'll just land that where he was gonna go, and then when all the tracked enemy stuff shows up, hopefully by that point, you know, my plane has done some damage to them, or I can just fall back a bit. But you want to, you gain the space with the air opener, and then you own the space with the air cav troopers. Mech Rifle Dragon are just kind of your line infantry. They're decent. They're not amazing. They're decent. The Dragon 2 used to go a lot further, basically. And they used to have 11 men and 3 machine guns. Now they're 9 and they've got 2. And this one can't fire while moving. So, because it used to be 3 of these. So yeah, they're basically the old light rifles Dragon, except they're also a 10, whereas they also used to be 11. History boffins ruining everything as usual. So yeah, don't tell them World War Three didn't happen though. They'll just blow a fuse. What do you mean? No. So yeah, you need this. I bring it in the dragon thing as well, just so I can have some more stuff on the ground. You don't have a wheeled option anyway, but I bring it in the dragon one. It's not as good as the BWP one, which costs the same amount and is just better in every single way, but it's still decent. It's okay. It's not that great actually. If it was a dragon 2, it'd be better. Anyway, engineers. So I bring it in the M113A3, and that's because this div doesn't get a lot of stuff, and so I like having the extra track to units to help provide firepower. But if you want the engineers to get there quickly, obviously the Humvee is the right option. And then you can save 100 points over the course of the game by buying those Humvees on the entire card of engineers. You can save 100 points. So I don't really think it's worth it. That's why I get the M113A3. But it does mean that, if you're trying to reinforce a position with engineers, they are going to take longer to get there if you bring it in this. But not actually too much longer. If you're using the roads, it will be 33% longer than the original. Right. Anyway, yeah, one vet, one vet, one vet. I also bring the Panzer Grenadier and the Marder 1A3 Milan at no vet. If this feels like a bit like I'm skipping things, I'll link some stuff in the description where I've been through this deck a few other times, and that will explain how I've arrived at all these conclusions, basically. But basically, yeah, this is at no vet because I need as many of them as possible with the IFVs. You only get one card of IFVs. I want as many of these as possible. It's got ATGMs on it, it's got a nice amount of armor, and I just put up with the fact that it doesn't fight as well. Just put up with it. Then Heimat Jaeger, you don't have a choice. This is what brought me back to this division. This is why I've been playing it a lot recently. And that's because the reservist trait isn't as bad as it used to be. It is now reflected on the stat card, which makes it look like it's bad, but worse even. But with these red is bad, right? Like black, red, green. Anyway, because reservist isn't as bad anymore, these guys aren't as bad anymore. So that's why I wanted to try out the div. Arty, so between these two, the German one's better because it goes further, which means that at the same range it has a tighter dispersion circle, so it is just better. So for 5 points more, it's well worth it. 18k versus 24k. If you get into a position where you're using your 50 cal, or you're using your MG3 and you wish you had a 50 cal, then you made a big mistake before that. So, yeah, and then in terms of these, so I bring the Panzer Mercer, but basically, well, actually, do I? Yeah, I do. If you just want to smoke, this one's better because it goes further. And it fires a bit faster, but the smoke clouds are a bit smaller because it's done off the caliber. So that doesn't matter too much. But yeah, it goes further, which matters. The reason and it's got more armor and stuff. This one really should have smoke. It's got some smoke launchers on the front of it. Would probably just make it a much better option, but the reason I bring this is because it can also hurt people with the 120mm rounds, so I just prefer it for that. Sometimes you can't afford the howitzer, particularly near the start of the game. I get the Mortrak quite early, and it's still not amazing, right? But it's better at hurting people than this one, so I'm willing to pay that extra price for that capability and lose a little bit of the smoke range. Tanks, so yeah, this is exactly how I build mine. Basically, you get all the CV tanks in here, so you've got 6 CVs. 3 plus 2 plus 2 is 6, quick math. It's 7 if you're wondering. And then just a bunch of M1A1s at 2 vet. So, is that as many as I bring? I bring 4. So I don't understand where he's made his... I bring 4 cards of it. But yeah, if you don't need any more tanks than this, then don't bring any more tanks than this. The CEV is good for anti-infantry. If you had an IFV, like so on 3rd Armoured, I don't think I bring it. On 24th, I don't think I bring it. I don't think I do on Berlin Command either. And that's because those divs all have like IFVs. Berlin Command's got the Raden thing. And they do the job better than this, but if you don't have those, then you need this. And the reason I bring it at 1 vet is because it doesn't have smoke. So if you bring it at no vet, the enemy round hits and then you just get stunned and routed or whatever and you can't do anything. Whereas at 1 vet, the enemy round hits and then you can actually leave, maybe. It's not very fast. It doesn't have smoke, but it does make it better, and I don't really need that many of them. In the recon tab, I vastly prefer the scouts to the BGS Streiser, who have the militia trait, which is basically so reservist got split into 2 traits, new reservist and militia. So if you see something with new reservist and militia, it's just called reservist, but it's the new reservist trait. Then it is the old reservist. So KDA Schutzen is just the same. These guys, or girls I suppose, got the militia but not the reservist. The reason I bring the scouts is for the grenade launcher Humvee. Right? So, there's fewer of them, but I get the grenade launcher Humvee, and I feel like you need a lot of anti-infantry capability in this division, because you don't really get, you get 1 card of IFVs, so that's why I bring that instead of the BGS Streiser. LRS is very good. So this is your ground-based airborne for deployment, 100 kilometers an hour vehicle, ground surveillance radar, so it gets exceptional optics when it stood still. Decent combat squad as well, because of the DMR. It is classed as a DMR, not a sniper. Then he brings 8 recon helos, which is quite frankly ridiculous. You don't need 8 recon helos. It's a 2-point slot. Yeah, I mean, do you need 4 more recon helos more than you need 2 more tanks? Or get this, let's say you really don't need any more tanks. Could get rid of that, and then, upvet one of these, and upvet one of these, and there you go. Now you've got the same number of tanks. Incredible. Now you've got the same number of tanks, right? Except now 2 of them are at 2 vet. Do you really need 8 recon helos? Seems ridiculous, really. Yeah, basically you would buy 1 or 2 recon healers at the start to spot for the A10s. This one is good because it's got high ECM and 8 HP, so it survives any manpad hit, and the manpads will miss a lot. Things tend to miss a lot versus it. It's also got this jammer trait, which is neither here nor there really, but it cancels enemy ground surveillance radar, and it cancels artillery correction within the area. So you can have your front line be artillery less. It's not something you really notice, but it does actually make a difference if you've got it near your front line where the enemy arty's coming in. You'll see that your units tend to not take as much damage because the dispersion circle's larger than it should be, so they're not getting the corrected shot. Then this one, it has Hellfires, so it's a lot easier to lose, but it's got Hellfires, so some people just bring this at the start and don't bother with the A10. But, it's not really how I do it. Then Bradley's, so this has 5 armor, this has 4 armor, this has tandem, so it does more damage to ERA, so I prefer it. And then the M1A1 ACAV, which is it's just a regular M1A1, except for 15 points more. It gets good optics and it starts further forward, so if you don't want to do an air opener, you do an opener with one of these, but you do not do both because you cannot afford to do both. AA tab. Right, so for this 3-point slot, he's got these 3 AA helos, and for that he has sacrificed 2 planes. So I bring the F-16C cluster, and I'm pretty sure I bring the LGBT instead of this. Right, the F-16 cluster reloads in 60 seconds and can also kill enemy planes. What's this doing for you? Basically, you buy 3 at the start, and you hope and you pray. Because the enemy plane comes and it will kill 1, and then you hope the other 2 can finish it off. I don't like it. I just don't think there's any point in that. If it came at 4 availability, maybe it'd be good or something, but I don't see the point. And then Eyehawks are must bring, right? Defend your tanks from the air, and Stingers are really good as well against manpads and against planes. So these are must brings. You can bring Pivads if you want to hurt infantry more, but I find that I don't really need it. Or do I still bring it? I thought I took it out. No, I don't really bring it. But yeah, you see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planes here, whereas Sam only has 5. And that's because of this. Because of this, he's given up 2 F-16 clusters. Doesn't make any sense to me. Like 2 of these is so much more useful than 3 of these, and I don't see the point in this either. That was a tank, right? Like, if you don't need enough, there you go. Wow, incredible. Yeah, helis. So hogs are good against infantry, and then sea knights are actually not so bad against infantry. And they've got tow 2s on them. Like, so they've got 38, whereas the tow cobra has 14. But yeah, this is not a bad piece of kit. It's got tow 2s on it. I like it. I think I bring mine in this configuration as well. And then this is your long range fighter. This is your short range fighter. This is your seed plane. And then I bring the LGBT instead of the A10 rocket. The A10 rocket can work. It's just if you actually do fire all these rockets, it's going to be reloading for 6 minutes. Whereas this will reload in 2 minutes. And it drops 1 at once, so you can kill 2 guys with it. Although it is only 1 per card, which is the disadvantage. Then the A10AT is this. You used to get 2 cards of this in this division, so you would just bring 2 of those. This thing is really good. This is what you open with. So yeah, I don't think 3 of these is worth losing 2 of these, frankly. But that's just me. Switching to his opponent's deck, we've got Onion playing 35Y. Wow. Most of it I agree with, I suppose. So, first things first, get to the arty tab. Right, so if you want 3 cards of supply, okay, whatever. You do not want 8 122mm howitzers. These things are dreadful. If you want to bring 3 cards of supply, you bring 2 half-grads and 3 Nonas, maybe even 2 Nonas. Basically, this is your smoke and your anti ATGM position, whatever, and these just fire a lot. And then your 3 cards of supply will sort that out. In terms of your supply options, yeah, this is 300 supply, 25. I don't really think it's very good. So I bring these. Then in terms of your supply helos, you can get 1 6,000 supply helicopter, or you can get 4 1,500 supply helicopters. If this dies, you will begin having a stroke immediately. So I don't recommend that at all. I really don't. I mean, for the sake of, this is even one. This is 140. All 4 of these, which you won't buy all at once anyway, would be 220. So for the sake of 70 points, you risk. Wait, you could basically lose the game if you lose this, depending on what you're doing. I mean, when he had 8 of these, infantry. So yes, this div you want to spam BMD 2s. That's the whole point. I see people build this div without that, and I just wonder why they don't watch more Hippie YouTube videos. Then, so CV check 3, 4, 5. So only 5 CVs is on the low side, to tell you the truth. It really is. I'd say it's the bare minimum. 5 is the bare minimum. Spetsnaz. Oh yeah, he didn't bring the forward deployed CVs. Although if you're only bringing 2 CV cards, then it makes sense to bring the 3 availability one. Spetsnaz are very good against infantry. You're sad that you only get 4 of them, but they are very good. The RPOs, 10 submachine guns, very, very effective. OP Spetsnaz are good against vehicles. Frankly, I think you could do without them. Your BMD2 guys, your Desert Nikis. This is a really good squad, by the way. The DMR has the shooty power of 4 rifles, and LMG has the shooty power of 2 rifles. So that's 6 plus 4. That's 10 shooty power for 45 points. It's very effective. Don't really think you need this, to be frank. And then, yeah, Spetsnaz CV and the Mi-8 TV rocket. I mean, it's a nice CV with the smoke and the RPG. I mean, bringing it in this makes it very expensive, but there you go. Honestly, I'd be getting rid of this. Afghans D, they have the new Mountaineer trait, which makes them go faster. So you could bring that instead. You can do that, right? They're not bad, so 4 plus 4, 8 plus 4, 12 shooty power. And they're nothing amazing, really. They've got Resolute and stuff. Basically, you seem to like helicopters with rockets, and given that I deprived you of 8 of them, I think we'll give you 7 here, or even 5. I think it's probably a better idea. And then there you go. Now you've got Mi-8 TV rockets. You have to get the infantry to get those. Desatniki Metis is a good squad. Conquers, okay. And then Conquers in the robot. The robot's not so bad. It's quite pricey, but you reach this situation playing against these guys where they just have an infinite wall of ATGMs, and this helps with that. So the idea behind 35Y is you win the opener with your forward deployment, and then you just build up this wall of ATGMs. So I understand having 2 cards of that. Not having the grenade launchers rough, but you've got BMD2s here, and you should have grenade launchers in your recon tab. R2 we spoke about. Tanks. So these are good because they've got good stealth and fire conquers. I have seen people use this. I personally don't really like it very much. And then 2 cards of BRDM 2 conquers for that ATGM wall. We'll see if he needs those 2 AP somewhere. Recon tab, so Spetsnaz GRU. These are good. Ground surveillance radar, special forces. They're like the LRS on 11th ACAV. Then Spetsnaz Sniperi are terrible. They are literally awful. Do not bring these, because this is not a sniper rifle. This has a range of 500 meters. And this is not a sniper rifle because it's not got a range of 1250 meters. It's got a range of 850. So this is a DMR. This is an SMG. They're just called sniper. So yeah, there's really no point in these at all. Then more helicopters, apparently. I've seen it done. It can happen. Although if you've got these, you probably don't need these anymore, but it can be done. Maybe you vet it to get 4 or whatnot. This is 30 points for very good optics and dies in 1 stinger hit. This loses 1 availability, and for 50 points it has 8 HP, so it can survive any manpad in the game and most air missiles, at least 1. You know, a Cub or an Eyehawk will kill it. That's about it, I think. Krugs can't shoot it. And then it's got exceptional optics, so this is a much better choice. Then, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you could put this in. You could put this in. We'll see. So, Iglas, Scratchits, Iglas. Yeah, so this is your forward deployed AA in the car. This is your AA in the Scratchit because it's got more shooty on it. It's decent against infantry, I understand. This is really good against infantry. You just unload it and then it kills everything. It's really dumb. And then, yeah, these are for your anti-plane, your best anti-plane, basically. Helis, so a cooler AT. I mean, everything's 1 per card anyway. The Akula is very hard to keep alive. It's basically an Apache. It's the packed Apache. If you can keep it alive, the Vickers are really not bad. He's got 2 of those. My 24 VP, which is also a... this is definitely a Helo. I prefer... I mean, it's got 20% ECM and this gun, right? I prefer this one. Has a worse gun, but the rockets are better. And it's, what... 60 points cheaper. It's 55 points cheaper. So I prefer this one. The Akula AA is a nice idea, but because it's by itself, enemy planes just strafe it and then it dies. So which also applies to this. But the idea is that it being AA, I don't know, it can be useful because for 160 points you get this very nice gun, and these guns, if they fire, do a lot. So I would bring it anyway. It's just don't expect it to beat a plane. Treat it like this one. you will lose the plane. It's just it can be useful sometimes to kill enemy helos with this, like recon helos or something. And the guns on it are nice for 160 points, 20% ECM, 8 HP. Air tab. So no planes, right? This is a nice plane. This is a better plane. This has a reload of 4 minutes, and it's just not that amazing, frankly. This has a reload of 2 minutes. It's only one per card, like. But if you've got the seed, you might as well get this. Use the seed to protect this. Use the fighters to protect this. This cluster plane is not great, to tell you the truth. It can work. This is much better at killing tanks if that's what you actually want to do. And it's cheaper.
I like money.
Rusty Castle subscribed to the channel.
Thank you for subscribing to the channel. It's free. Please do it. Yeah, so the AT plane, and then I would be bringing the second LGBT. Now, sadly, that 2-pointer never got fulfilled, right? So what you could do is bring 2 forward deployed CVs by getting rid of this, because then you've still got 12, 24 plus 6, 30 ATGMs, 36, 42, 48, right? What I would be thinking about... Yeah, okay, so put this back in. Get rid of this guy. Then get the UAZ SPG-9. Very, very useful at the start of the game. If you played 35Y, you just send one of these down each road, kill stuff. Really, really funny opener. And then, where did I get rid of that 2-pointer? It was in here, wasn't it? And that's literally... So you can get another healer if you really want. Or you can get, you know, you can get your... whatever, if you really want them. Or you can get these guys, maybe, in the KPVT, and then you've got a lot of recon, something like that. Or you can get the BRDM too. What did he have? I think he had this one, right? It can work, I guess. It's just, I don't really like it. It's good for reconning. It's not very good at shooting anybody. Do get 4 of them, though, at max vet. So, yeah, I hope you learned something. That's enough deck yappage. Now we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments, and the game. And as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so in terms of the map, this is the new map, Omen. It's basically symmetrical, right? You can probably see most clearly by looking at these 4 things here. And essentially, Bravo is a middle zone, and everything else is up for grabs, right? Red can often rush Golf at the start. Blue can rush Delta, but I don't see it done very often. Usually people prefer just going for Bravo. And, yeah, that's the map. I like it. I think it's a really good map. People don't like it. For starters, a lot of people don't like change. And also, you can't tank blob on it very effectively, because if you look around, there's not many open areas. So, like here, I guess, and kind of around here, but really there's not many open areas. So dragons and metis, which are both features in this game, or at least they were in the decks. I don't know if they're going to bring them. They work really well here because there's lots of ranges where it's not max range. So I think that's really cool. It's kind of boring to see a map like Vertigo. Obviously, they changed Vertigo to make it less open, but old Vertigo was literally just flat. There was no middle bit. That middle bit wasn't there. There was no houses in the middle and stuff. It was just flat. And then people say, you know, why infantry bad? So yeah, I really like this map. I like urban front lines as well. I think it's cool to have infantry-based maps. You'll note that, you know, a lot of games don't have like big cities, and that's because it makes a lot of games run badly, because the cities, you know, you got to render all the objects in the cities, whereas a flat field is almost free, right? So a lot of games don't have that, but it's cool that Warno's engine is capable of giving us these cityscapes. Although this is, you know, this is a bit of a mix, but something like Urban Frontlines You know, I'm not sure that would have been possible in Red Dragon. They did have Woznan Harbor or whatever. Anyway, in terms of the matchup, basically this isn't the best map for 11th ACAV. Essentially, 11th ACAV wants to play quite narrow because it doesn't get a lot of, it doesn't get any medium tanks, for example. It's just the M1A1s and the iHawks that you want for the late game. You don't get a huge amount of infantry. You get enough, but you don't get a massive amount. And so 11th ACAV really struggles to play wide. 35Y is perfect playing wide. You want to play as wide as possible, get those BMD2s going around everywhere, the BRDM2 Conkers, lots of infantry, really nice air tab. 11th ACAV has a nice air tab as well. But yeah, 35Y's air tab, superior fighters, LGBTs, whatnot. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, 35Y has the advantage, basically. I don't know which side's better on this map, given that it's almost symmetrical. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't really think there is a good side. Although I've only played about 5 games on it, I'm sure I'll develop an opinion eventually. It's my alarm, sorry. So, let's talk about the deployments. We've got Crimson Onion here, opening with 2 OP Spetsnaz just to cover his base. I mean, he's playing very defensively. These are airborne forward deployers. He should have one going to there and one going to here. And then sneak this one all the way around to there, you know. I'm not sure why he's playing so defensively when he has the airborne forward deployment. He's even got a recon helo to make sure it's free. Then he's got an Igla for mid, an OP Spetsnaz for this forest. Descent Conquers for this building. Very, very defensive plays. I mean, he should be getting up to here, really. Or up to here. Spetsnaz for the town. Landing all the way back here. AA gun for the town. Just for anti-infantry. Recon. Like going behind the Spetsnaz. By the way, religious people can see further than atheists. And here's a church. So, you go here, you can't see much. But if you convert, you can see a lot more, so you might as well be getting in here. And then another Spetsnaz grew. This one is going to here. Really defensive. Should be coming up to here. Should be getting up to here. I don't really see the point in this unit to begin with when you've got the Spetsnaz OP covering this. And then a Desantniki BMD2 unloading here, apparently. Recon Helo to scam Bravo. Desantniki Metis, also not even going to the halfway point. BRDM2 Conkers for the side, BRDM2 Strela for Bravo. Non-forward deployed CV, as you know from his deck, doesn't have any forward deployed CVs, so Charlie, Echo, and then presumably Delta. On the right, we've got the Spetsnaz Sniperi, really defensive. UAZ Conkers, really defensive. Igla, really defensive. Sniperi, really defensive. UAZ Conkers, really defensive. So, for some reason, this airborne forward deployed guy has decided to give up his main advantage. Switching to our opponent's deployment, we've got Sam playing 11th ACAV, and it looks like he's gone for more of a ground-based opener, which is not how I do it. I go heavy on the planes at the start, because it would work here, right? What's he going to stop you with? This isn't going to do anything. This isn't going to get there in time. This might hit you. It's not going to kill you. I mean, you might have a plane, but you should have a fighter as well. Anyway, so he's open with a bunch of helos, so Recon, M1A1 ACAV going for Delta, apparently. So he does want to rush Delta. 2 aircav troopers also going for Delta. Alright, and they're guarded by two AA helos, 3 AA helos. So this is how, if you're going to bring them, this is how you bring them. You bring all 3 at the start and you spread them out, basically like that. What you will note is that these go at 195 and this goes at 245, so it's going to outstrip its escort pretty fast. But if the enemy plane strikes this, then these 3 should be fine to kill the enemy plane. A CV for India, and then presumably Delta if he gets it. And then a CEV, and a Heimat Jaeger. Then in mid, not much, right? A BGS Streiser for just sat in the middle of Foxtrot, like what? I mean, you've got a recon healer going up to here, at least you might as well put this up to here. Maybe you will repath it. Another CV. This one's going Foxtrot Hotel, presumably golf. A Stinger and a Heimat Jaeger, also for Foxtrot. Hopefully he moves these up when he realizes it's empty. Nothing for golf, even though that's, you know, it's a lot easier for the enemy to attack golf than it is to attack Foxtrot. BGS Strycer for hotel, even though Bravo's the midpoint. Heimat Jaeger for hotel, Stinger for hotel, even behind hotel. So, yeah, I mean, this is the middle zone, but I guess if your enemy's VDV, you probably expect him to take all this at the start. Something like an LRS would get there faster than the Spetsnaz, because it's an 100km/h vehicle, and you would use the scout to check, and then you'd see, oh, I can go another building, you know, before I have to unload, that sort of thing. Yeah, Heimat Jaeger for here. Yeah, so two very, very conservative deployments from both players, so I guess we'll see what happens. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest levels worth 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. This is my sole source of income as I try to finish off this endless PhD. I've got a thesis, they're just not letting me submit it. And yeah, well, lovely people. Anyway, if you don't want to do that, please just like the videos. It's free, and even watching it helps. So I do appreciate you watching. I do appreciate you all. I appreciate this map. I appreciate this game. I appreciate this game a lot more after I got 100 hours in Broken Arrow. It's funny, you know, when Broken Arrow first came out, I was like, oh yeah, it was so much better than Warno. And then I kept playing it, and I just the problems started to pile up. And I've had a lot of people have similar situations. First minute's down, and of course the enemy buys a fighter. So yeah, if you're going to do a helo insert, you really need a plane. And if you're not going to buy it at minute 40, you should buy it at minute 39 or what have you. So there you go. This is basically what we spoke about. So the plane went on the Black Hawk, and then these killed the plane. So, you know, it can work. You know, if the enemy was a bit more competent, basically he would have come in from this angle and killed this, and then killed this, and then killed this. And this one never would have been able to get a shot off. This one might have been able to. And basically, you know, you shift-click them all. And you try and kill them in a line. If you just come in from the middle, it's basically the worst thing you can possibly do, because you saw they all shot him. So yeah, they do work. It's just you got to make sure you put them all together. Scout here goes down, and yeah, I don't really understand this deployment from either player. You know, Crimson, he's got this here. He knows there's nobody here, so why is he still here? You know, he could even swing this one around. Okay, so he goes for round 2 on that MiG-29, and now he's going for the wrong thing again, because the exact same thing's going to happen, right? Well, I mean, you know what they say, learning is reinforcement. Learning is reinforcement. Every time until you learn. You got any more planes left? Try it again. See what happens. But what you can do also, if you see 3 of these and you get your plane up, you're like, oh no, I don't want to die. So you wait, and then after the minute you buy the second one. Then you send them both in, and you come in from the sides, and then you definitely kill all 3 without taking a loss. So you know it's a really interesting game, Warno. Anyway, the M1A1 ACAV's not having the best time ever. Does survive so far, although I don't know what's going to happen now. If he keeps his cool, he'll be fine, but if he starts spazzing out, no, just keeps reversing, he's okay. So yeah, this is something else you can do. Once you unload your guys, you use the Black Hawk to scout. Sadly, I guess because he came from here to here, he didn't actually see that, so that's going to take him out there. Because yeah, this will have dropped there and then moved up. And so if he knows this is free by scanning this road, then this Iltis should have come down here, right? Because this should have come down this road, and it would have seen there's nobody there. So this Iltis should have come down there. He's getting a supply up for the ACAV. Not quite sure how that got there. In the meantime, Onion Man is just not pushing his advantage, right? He's losing this. Okay, well what he should be doing is he should have taken this ages ago, and he should be in here by now. He's got a recon helo. He knows there's nobody in here. So now that he knows that, you swing it around to here, and you see if there's anybody in here, then you can move these up. So you know, 35Y is like one of the most popular divisions in the game, particularly among new players. They're like, wow, I want to be the VDV, like in the song. And then they start singing the song, and they just don't get it, really. VDV is very strong, but it's not an easy div to play. You gotta be able to push your advantage. I'd say it's about medium, right? You can't go wrong if you just keep buying BMD2s and spamming those out, and ATGMs, you should be alright. But generally, you know, a lot of it is, most of its advantages are in the first 10 minutes, essentially. Like, this is just an absolute travesty. Why has nobody gone for this? Like, what this is supposed to be a blue zone as well, so this should be in here. Yeah, very strange behavior. So anyway, the Iltis is actually moving up now, just in time to get hit by the Hilo, so that's a shame. He is moving up the AA guys who have been resupplied. That Strella's probably going to get him. This Iltis, you know, should really be turning around. Stingers, yeah, they do the standard auto-targeting thing, where they like could have killed this, but instead it gets neither. A10's finally up. The Black Hawk has seen the OP Spetsnaz. A10's going on the AA first, which is very intelligent. That's what you want to do. Strela misses its first shot, and it will not get a second. So yeah, another MiG-29. There's only 2 of these now. Okay. Yeah, wow. So that's the 3rd time he's done that. He's just gone straight past them and let them shoot him. They are dying though, but they've definitely got their money's worth. I mean, they've killed 3 planes. But that is just basically Red's incompetence. He's doing it again. He's just going to fly straight. Oh, he's actually going on it this time. Wow, incredible. Yeah, if you kill this, then it can't hurt you, right? It basically is a glass cannon. Anyway, it survives that. This doesn't actually have any Sidewinder missiles, and it's a 3-vet, so... Apparently 3-vet means only 57% accuracy. This is quite surprising, actually. It's weird, especially given that the packed Igloos have 60% accuracy. The American Sting... What? It's gone up? Was I clicking something else? What the heck? That's weird, man. That was definitely lower last time I looked at it. I was gonna say, it's so low. Yeah, anyway. Needs a bit of ground-based AA at this point. He does have some Stingers, but he unloaded them here. Looks like he forgot this Conkers was in there. Stinger coming in handy now, I suppose. And the tanks are rolling in. Still nothing happening here. Red just content to just sit around in half the zone. It is very distressing to see this. Does upset me greatly. Same for blue. Basically, you know, space is a resource. Space is like points. Or like conquest points, or like Uncle Sam, you know, buy tank points. Or like time. These are all resources. Space is a resource. You don't give up space for free. Space might even be the most valuable resource. You can trade space for time. You can trade space for... Because, you know, defending, you tend to exact more casualties on your opponent while you're defending. Unless you're bad, right? So you can trade space for kills. You can trade space for points. You can trade space for time. You know, either side... So, like, red would be on a plus... He'd have more time, right, if he had this. And blue would be putting more pressure on the enemy if he had this. But both of these guys are just tunnel visioned out. Anyway... This thing kills another guy. I mean, it's really sad because people are going to say this is a great showcase of how useful these things are, but you're getting the wrong lesson from that. Your opponent's basically a moron. He's just doing the same thing over and over again. Oh dear. Imagine if instead of buying all 4 of those planes, he'd just bought BMD2s from the same thing. That would be 12 BMD2s, more or less. How much better would this be going if he just had 12 BMD2s? Instead, he bought all those planes and he accomplished basically nothing. I mean, it can work if you're against somebody who is, you know, gonna fall for it. But I don't tend to be against those people, I suppose. Oh, well, I don't even try. Maybe I am. Anyway, BMD2 takes out that scout. And the ACAV is out of range, so he's going to have to like go backwards and then come back in. Oh, to be honest, what he should do is run at it. Instead he gets hit and then smokes. It's rough, really. Worst case scenario, basically. I suppose he could have been bailed out. Anyway, the A10 AT is generally more useful than the A10 rocket, in my opinion. But, you know, if you're against infantry, I suppose the rocket's better. It's just, it's not actually that much better against infantry, because the gun does quite a bit. F-16 takes out the MiG-25. Yeah, this Crimson Onion guy, I don't know how many games he's had. I suppose we'll see at the end. This should be in the building, so he would take 50% less damage if he was in the building. And yeah, A10's coming in now for the BMD2. Always nice to see these. Wow. So that was most likely the GAU that did all the damage there. I mean, the Hydras don't do too much against vehicles. In the meantime, he sent a Black Hawk here, and he's seen there's nobody there. He could, you know, is this... I just don't understand this at all. These guys are just playing on this part of the map. Like this quarter of the map is where all the action's happening. Neither player willing to move on golf. Really, red should have taken it, and blue could at least, you know, send one of these black. Oh, there's nobody there, and also it's not captured, so we've got a CV. Yeah, just drive that in, get some points on the board. In the meantime, yeah, that Conkers just picks up another one there. VP gets taken out by the A10. You see that they've got the AIM 9 Mega on it, the second best short-range missile in the game. The best one's a packed one. And yeah, I'm not sure what to say, really. Mr. Onion here, every minute he buys another plane. And he just sends them out, and usually they die, and then he just buys another one. I get it, you know, VDV, haha. Yeah. This could have been, if this had been resupplied, he would have got that guy, but wasn't necessary. So yeah, that was definitely a game of Warno. Yeah. Yeah, those AA helos did very well, frankly. Sam here, 4 games this season, 262 games total. Crimson Onion, 5 games this season, 555 games total. So this is the Hippie dividend here. These two guys, this guy has half as many. I'm much more forgiving of both of these players now. I have 2,500 games, I think. So I have 4 times more games than these two put together. Something like that. And yeah, so this is the Hippie dividend. You can have half as many games as your opponent, and you can get twice as many kills if you watch my videos. So let that be a lesson to you. Obviously, you're already watching this, so I guess it doesn't matter. The AA helicopters, right? The way you counter them is you don't just dive your planes into them. Wow, incredible. I know, right? If you really want to kill them, bring 2 planes if you can, and come in from the sides, so that you can, preferably one from each side, but you can do it both from the same side if you want. It's just one Stinger missile will suppress both planes, so you might end up evacing prematurely. And that's how you deal with those. But yeah, this guy, he just kept sending his planes into those helos and losing them. Yeah, really interesting learning game, I think. So I hope you learned something about space, how important space is, and how to deal with those AA helos. I'll see you in the next one. GG.